The HomeCourt app helps players train smarter. How exactly does it work?
You can set it up, whether it's your phone or iPad, and you can put it in a position where it can see the court. You can go through a whole workout. You can shoot hundreds and hundreds of jumpers, and it will log where you shot the jumpers from, how many you made from each spot, what your percentage is, what are your best spots, what are your worst spots. And then at the end too, you can click on certain things, click on certain spots. You can watch a video of all your shots. You can watch some of your makes, some of your misses. And it, basically creates this like workout analysis. How did you do today? How did you shoot? What situations did you struggle in? What spots did you struggle in? Did you shoot well? And you can kind of play competitions against yourself to continue to try to get your percentage and your shooting higher. And the greatest thing is it's on everybody's phone or iPad, and anybody can do it. And so that's why for me, I use this app and I'm playing at the top level, and it's still helpful to me.
And so why this app particularly? Because you, I'm sure, get bombarded with so many requests and asked to invest in a lot of ventures. Why specifically this app?
For me, this really aligns with my brand and my vision in terms of what I believe in. I truly believe in, my story, there's multiple aspects to it, but one is kind of being an underdog, not being invited to any of the invitational camps, never being seen as one of the top players, never getting a scholarship to a college team, never getting drafted. And so it's definitely this underdog story of trying to outwork other people and find different ways. And so the accessibility of this app is definitely in line with my story and my brand. And so bringing basketball to anybody who wants to be good at it, and not the person who has the most money to pay for the best coaches, not the best player or the one that's the tallest or the one that's the most heavily recruited, just anybody who loves the game, you can get better.
So it's really good for amateur players as well as professional players, as you've outlined. It's interesting, we've seen this massive trend of new technologies being adopted into professional athlete teams of the way they train, artificial intelligence also helping the process. What other applications do you see this type of technology being used for?
We're starting to look into building more sports science stuff about it. And so, guys like Steve Nash and Sam Hinkie and other people that are involved, we're, all throwing in our ideas. And so there's a sports science element of it where it's like, hey, you can actually look at the arc. You can look at how far you jumped forward on your shot, the angle of your back, what is your posture, all the different things. What is your elbow alignment and what is the degree that you are shooting it at? And so all these sports science elements that can help you become a better shooter, because, when I was growing up, a lot of people would everything was subjective. It'd be like, oh, I feel like your arc is a little bit too high. Maybe try to lower it, or maybe try to lower your arm a little bit. But there was no science. There was no concrete evidence. There was no quantification other than what the person was telling you and what he saw through his eyes or she saw through her eyes. And so to be able to actually quantify these things and lay it out and make it, very simple for somebody to digest is something that we think is going to be really powerful.
So using this application and being able to quantify all of these techniques as you've suggested, I'll be interested to know, was there anything that surprised you that you've learned about your own technique from using the app?
Definitely. I even just from watching the videos, for me, I've shot hundreds of thousands of jumpers over the course of my life, probably. And the fact that, like, when I watch the shots that I made or the shots that I miss, I can see that there's a slight pause or there's a slight hitch. And sometimes when you're shooting, you may not feel it, or it may be so marginal, so slight, but that's the difference between 1 inch or 2 inches forward or to the right or to the left. That's the difference between a make or a miss. That's the difference between shooting 80% and 70%. And so being able to watch these videos in slow motion and to be able to just compare one after the other. And that's why I think it's so nice for it to be spliced up nicely, where it's like you can get rep after rep after rep, and then you visually see what was the result of it. And so for me to be able to analyze my shot is, extremely helpful versus if I'm just watching a video or I'm trying to track and find things, it's just a lot harder to find and compare and put side by side.